Hello and a warm welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Maria. I'm the owner and founder of the New Mummy Company right here in Oakville, Ontario. Today we are back with Sonja, our nutritionist, talking all things nutrition and postpartum, including breastfeeding. Hi, Sonja. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Maria.
I'm so glad that you're back with us again today. We had so much to talk about in nutrition and pregnancy, so I'm very excited about what we're going to be talking about today.
Me too. Honestly, it's my passion. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. So for those of you who haven't seen our pregnancy video and pregnancy and nutrition, go check that out. But I'm going to introduce you to Sonja just so that you understand who she is and a little bit about her credentials. Well, first of all, you will get to see in the duration of this video just how passionate she is about her absolute love for what she does, and that is all things holistic nutritionist. So Sonja is a certified holistic nutrition consultant, and Sonja works with us to help our pregnant moms, our moms to be, our postnatal moms, and our moms with those picky toddlers who are not sure that they actually like broccoli. So Sonja loves to be able to help you all out. So if you are in need of any support on an education or anything to do with nutrition, then let us know. But in terms of your qualification, Sonja, you are a certified holistic nutritional consultant. For somebody who may not have heard that term before, can you give us a brief summary of what that actually means?
Certainly. It's a broad picture of looking at the whole mind, body, and spirit, and looking at it's not necessarily a profession as I had 2 decades ago when I was a personal trainer that dealt mostly with weight loss in a gym setting. This has to do with how do we optimize the body? How do we optimize the mind? How do we optimize baby? How do we optimize baby's recovery? And there's a lot of investigative properties that come into play, a lot of assessments to see, are there organ systems in your body that are weak or need a little bit of a boost? Are there things that are working a little bit differently than others? So it's a big picture. It's not just how do we lose a couple of pounds, which we also can do, once the critical time of mom and baby are done, that can be done. But this looks at more specifics in optimizing baby's development, mom's recovery, mom's postpartum depression, if that was ever an issue. There are a lot of things that we can look at that's more than just let's lose 5 pounds or more.
Wonderful. So thank you for that. So suffice to say, Sonja is very well qualified to be able to come and chat with us today, but also to help you with any of your nutrition support that you might need. So first question first, this is a question that I am very excited to ask you because it's something that comes up in our moms groups and in our prenatal classes time and time again. What should you eat when you're breastfeeding? So I'm just diving right in, just getting right into it. What should we be eating while breastfeeding?
I'm glad you asked that. And I just want to come back to your original introduction when you said, does a picky baby or picky toddler like broccoli? Good news is, the more variety, if breastfeeding is an option or a choice for your journey, the good news is the more broccoli and the more vegetables you eat during pregnancy, the more adaptive your child will be to those tastes. So the more variety you can have in your pregnancy diet, the better it is for the child to adapt because they're going to be more used to those tastes and flavors. So that's something I want you to hold close to your heart, because what you're doing in pregnancy also makes an impact afterwards. But pardon me, let's go back to your question. I already forgot. I got so excited about broccoli. I forgot your question. What should we eat? right?
Well, yes. Specifically when we're breastfeeding, I think it's something that just, again, there's so much information on the internet, and it's one of those questions where we just want to be able to say categorically, these are the types of foods that you want to provide your body with. I guess for want of the fancy term, we obviously want to nourish our bodies, but there is that term galactagogue. What foods should we be eating, both from a galactagogue, as in milk producing perspective, but also from the perspective of you've had your baby or your babies, you've had your pregnancy, your body is now recovering from that pregnancy. What do we need to eat to nourish from a recovery standpoint, but obviously very importantly from a breastfeeding standpoint?
Yeah, well, that's a big question. So to cover one of those topics, we need a lot of healthy fats in our diet, because we know it's extremely important for baby to have an extreme amount, and I'm talking newborn, infant, baby. It's extremely important to have a lot of fat in their diet, and it's actually directly equivalent to what mom intakes is what baby's going to get. So if mom is following a low fat diet, the baby's not going to get enough fats for neurodevelopment. I'm not saying there's going to be an issue, but I'm saying that it's not the most optimum situation.
Okay.
And so mom needs, if it's if it follows mom's diet plan, a lot of animal fats, if that's appropriate for mom's diet, coconut milk, avocados, all these things are rich in cholesterol, which is extremely important for baby's brain development and also for baby's growth. There's a certain enzyme in mom's milk that actually gives baby 100% of digestion of what mom intakes. That's how important cholesterol is to the baby. So we don't want to avoid fats while we're breastfeeding.
Okay, so no low fat diet while you're breastfeeding.
No.
As far as you're concerned, that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if we then move on to the breast milk enhancing foods, oats, all those kind of foods, are they categorically proven, or is it just as important just to eat a balanced diet? And as we talked about in the pregnancy video, eating the rainbow.
Yeah, it's always eating the rainbow as much as you possibly can. And production of milk has to do with adequate water intake and galactagogues, such as, so when you mentioned that title, that's oats, oatmeal, and brewer's yeast. Those are the two most prominent galactagogues, and they can enhance milk production. However, it's mostly based on, is the mom taking in everything that she needs? So they're not going to make or break, they can help, but galactagogues are there to support and enhance, hopefully, a good solid base of nutrition that already exists. But the best thing you can do is consult with a nutritional professional that can help assess whether you're getting everything that you need or not. Because a breastfeeding mom's nutritional needs. So if we're looking at, like, does a breastfeeding mom need extra calories or less calories? It actually depends on mom's breast milk production. And so if mom's producing tons, if you have the mom that can donate milk because she's producing so much, she needs extra nutritional needs along with extra calories. And when I say nutritional needs, it's not always just calories. which is why, again, this becomes, a lot of details that it's best if you can consult with someone who is able to help you step by the step.
Okay. So a bowl of oatmeal in the morning is a great way to start your day if you're a breastfeeding mom.
Absolutely. And there are paleo balls out there, paleo lactation balls, which can include oats and burrs yeast. And it's basically dates, bananas, and a nut butter or peanut butter, whichever is suitable for your diet. And all those things combined are now your lactation ball.
Okay. Or oatmeal and chocolate chip cookies, which is always a good idea.
Absolutely. And New Mummy Company can provide those recipes, as I'm happy to divulge all the different recipes.
Wonderful. So if you want any of that information, just get in touch with us and we'll happily share that information with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we touched on it briefly, but we talked about a mom who is producing a lot of extra milk. So if she's donating milk. So just as we asked if extra calories are necessary in pregnancy, I guess the question really just to clarify then is, do you actually need extra calories if you're breastfeeding?
It's actually the same as when you're pregnant.
Okay.
So the same, what the general, again, I have a lot of caveats with it, but the general again is 330 calories to 400 calories a day extra, which isn't much. It's a couple of snacks or a solid meal. And it's very much dependent on your background as well. Do you exercise? Do you have other children to care for that you have to run around? In general, you do need more than the average woman to be able to produce. And if you're producing a whole lot of milk, it means your body is revved up and you need to fuel it with nutrient-dense foods. However, you don't need to go overboard because it's a time of equilibrium and balance. So it's generally speaking a time where a mom wants to nourish her baby and also getting back to pre-pregnancy body, right? So there's a balance, but primary goal is to nourish the baby, and it doesn't require any more than the slight increases during pregnancy.
Okay. If you're breastfeeding, should you avoid certain foods if baby is having signs of intolerance or sort of colic and wind and sort of diaper issues that you might as a mom be concerned about is related to your breast milk? So do you recommend people eliminating food groups? Because I know that can be risky.
I wouldn't say it's risky. I would say that it's important to be conscious of your intake versus baby's intake. So, baby's symptoms. So if baby is colicky and has GI issues or gas and that type of thing, if you think in the back of your mind, oh, I wonder if that stevia drink I had, or I wonder if broccoli is eliminate it, mom, for 3 to 5 days in your own diet, and then continue to breastfeed for a number of days. And if baby's issues resolve, then there's no harm, no risk for mom for the short period of time that is breastfeeding, even if you do extended breastfeeding. There's no harm in eliminating that stevia drink for you type thing. If you find that it's not making a difference, then it could be worthwhile to making bigger changes. Again, that requires an assessment from a professional to make sure that you're getting the adequate needs for your body, as well as baby's body.
So for example, you wouldn't recommend that somebody cut out all of their dairy in one fell swoop, because that could be where you are then lacking nutrition.
Oh, that's a big question, Maria. If your doctor says that your baby has a milk intolerance, then yes, you cut out dairy in one fell swoop. if you are wondering if baby's reaction to your intake of dairy is making an impact, then you cut it out for a week. Technically, we want to cut it out for a month.
Okay.
And it's not going to be any harm to mom
Okay.
For that short period of time, because mom should be supplementing with a quality prenatal or postnatal vitamin, such as some of the ones that New Mommy provides. And there are other ways to get, for example, calcium that comes from dairy products. A little pro tip would be use sesame seeds in everything.
Okay.
So sprinkle sesame seeds on a salad, put it in your smoothie, put it in your yogurt, put sesame seeds everywhere. There's your calcium type thing. So there's ways to help mom out while she's trying to figure out baby's concerns.
Okay. And it's funny you mentioned cow's milk protein allergy. I actually didn't mean for it to be like something as serious as that, because obviously that is a very serious condition for a baby to go through. I was just using dairy as an example for because it often gets labeled as a trigger food, and people will, often cut out, certain food groups, whether it's meat or whether it's dairy or whether it's wheat or gluten, and so they'll take a whole food group out of their diet. But I'm sort of feeling a little better when you're saying that it can be done and it doesn't have that sort of hugely negative impact that one would have thought.
Yeah, for the short term, no. And if you can have your food diary, so to speak, properly assessed, there are lots of different ways you can make it happen, because of course we have different types of natures of food intake, whether we're vegan or vegetarian or Muslim or, what have you. There's so many different ways
Options
to be healthy within the restrictions or choices that we make.
Okay. So I know that you're a big fan of bone broth, and
Yes.
is bone broth something that you would recommend to someone who is in the postnatal period?
Yeah, absolutely. Because bone broth is really, I'll say, heavy with collagen, and collagen seems to be a popular topic these days, but I'm actually talking about like ancient wisdom in different cultures other than Western culture. Bone broth has collagen that helps mom recover. Bones, ligaments. We know that babies like to make renovations on our insides.
Yes.
And, we have to counteract that with proper nutrition. And Western diet typically doesn't include a lot of collagen. I think about my Eastern European family, and they love to like gnarl on chicken bones. And I always thought that is like funny animal like behavior. But now I know, I'm like, oh, you went the better way to get bone broth, like the collagen and cartilage than we have now type thing.
Oh.
So it's essential for the rebuilding of mom.
Okay, good to know. So for those of us who may have a couple of naughty habits, and I'm talking about chocolate and coffee here, should they be avoided in pregnancy, or not pregnancy, postpartum, or can they be taken in small quantities? Is like, what's the impact on caffeine? Because obviously we need to realize there's caffeine in chocolate. Are those in moderation? Can we really? Because I'm just thinking about all the sleep deprived moms out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to say it's not naughty. It's not naughty to love a piece of chocolate, a cup of coffee, but yeah, I mean, it is, I'm glad you brought that up. It is very much about moderation. So, if you're a breastfeeding mom, we want to be conscious of our caffeine intake. So let's look from the, average start of the day to the end of the day. If you start the day with a cup of coffee, that's cool. you know, the average caffeine in 1 cup of coffee for the breastfeeding mom is okay on the average spectrum. If at lunch you decide you want a couple of caffeinated teas, we're starting to push it.
Okay.
Later in the afternoon, if you feel like you need a piece of chocolate, which is totally cool, but not if you had your, you know, Starbucks coffee in the morning. Because if we have to look at all the different food items that carry caffeine. So tea has non-herbal teas have caffeine, chocolate has caffeine. So if you're consuming all of these three, I'll say, you know, offenders, they're not offending, but in excess, they're offenders. If we look at all three of these, if you're consuming them 3 times a day each, then it's in the baby and your best benefit to reduce that. However, if your treat is to have, you know, a Starbucks coffee, or the next day your treat is to have a chocolate bar, or you want to spend the next day having tea all day long, that's all cool. Consider it as a big picture, and it's not something you want to be doing all day long, especially if you have a child with acid reflux or colic.
Okay. Okay. So the good news is you can have it, just don't overdo it.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So obviously life with a new baby is hectic and busy and go, go, go. And so nutrition can, or at least nutrition for mom, you know, can sort of really come down the pecking order, and, you know, she'll take care of everybody else but herself. What can they do while they're pregnant to help make sure that life is a little bit easier on the lunch and dinner front when it comes to the postpartum period?
Yeah, great question, because it's so important. Those early days are really challenging. You know, if mom is going through that nesting period where, you know, mom feels like she needs to clean or prepare or do whatever, my suggestion is to use that energy towards cooking and freezing meals.
Right?
So whether that's, you know, a vegan casserole, or whether that's a chili, or making copious amounts of bone broth, which is most excellent for mom for recovery and for the months moving forward, is do as much as you can, you know, prior to delivering. You know, instead of vacuuming, use that little bit of energy to cook the next meal and store it in the freezer, because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Also, you know, focus on yourself and baby. If you're worried about, you know, the rest of the family getting their, you know, certain meals in place, that's when you recruit help. And the most important thing is when your friends and family or anyone ever offers help, to say, oh, can I bring anything? Or can I do anything for you in these early days? Do not be shy to say, you know, if you love lasagna, say, bring me a lasagna. If you love, you know, the Loblaws Thai soup, or, you know, whatever you have available, tell them and bring it. And people thrive in helping a new mom. So don't be shy to ask for, when they say, can I bring anything? And they want to bring you flowers, say, no, bring me a meatloaf, you know, or a vegan loaf.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Don't let anybody set forth into your house unless they're bringing you food.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. In terms of postpartum supplements, Sonja, I know in the past you've said that it's okay to take your prenatal vitamin in the postpartum period. Don't just throw them out, keep taking them.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, is it necessary to take supplements in the postpartum period? Like, should you be actively looking for one? Or should you probably be able to eat enough? Or is it only if you're breastfeeding that you need supplements? What's your take on supplements required after you've given birth?
Well, to be robust, one can consider that baby is a leech or parasite into mom's nutrients, bones, everything that mom has to offer. Obviously, I'm not I would never consider my baby as such, but what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of depletion that happens in pregnancy. So whether you're breastfeeding or not, it is important to supplement. Again, unless you're living on an island where you have organic meats, fish, eggs, dairy, and every single broad spectrum vegetable you have to offer, which is not anyone's option.
Yeah.
So on the general term is if you're eating clean, you're still not going to be able to get all the nutrients you need to recover from what baby absorbed from us during that time. So yes, it's important and extremely important in breastfeeding, and very important for non-breastfeeding mom as well.
Okay, perfect. Wow, that's been a lot of information. Thank you so much for sharing with it, but I'm not going to let you go yet. My last final question is, can you share 3 top tips with us that we can share with our viewers today in terms of either preparing for the postpartum period or as they're going through the postpartum period in terms of their nutrition?
Yeah, great question. You might associate my name with bone broth. Bone broth, bone broth, bone broth. If you're pregnant, make bone broth, freeze it. So you have it after delivery. It's rich in magnesium and collagen, everything to help your bones and joints, that whole pelvic system recover. It's important for babies' nutrient system as well. Cod liver oil, rich in vitamin A and D. Now, it's somewhat general public knowledge that the only supplement in Canada that's recommended for babies is vitamin D. Mm-hmm. And cod liver oil is a rich source of that for mom. And for breastfeeding mom, it's still recommended to supplement baby with vitamin D. So cod liver oil, now there's some caveats with that. If it's best to get a nutritional assessment to make sure that you have everything that's synergistic with that. However, cod liver oil, or at bare minimum, essential fatty acids with a lot of vitamin D, and smoothies that include vegetables that are broad spectrum, green, orange, yellow, red, with coconut milk. Now there's a little side tip that choline, vitamin mineral, it's a key nutrient to prevent plugged ducts in the breastfeeding mom, because it decreases milk's viscosity. Okay. So the thickness of mom's milk. So sometimes moms get plugged ducts, and it can lead to as far as mastitis. But choline, a vitamin mineral that's in our foods, tends to be in animal products. But it's something that should be in a postnatal vitamin, such as what New Mommy provides, but it's something to look at if it's lacking in a mom's diet. Okay. And is that mixed in with a supplement, or is it something that you could possibly look for on its own? It should be, if you're taking a quality pre and postnatal vitamin, such as what New Mommy provides, it's going to be in there in sufficient quantities. However, if you are a postpartum mom that's having difficulties with a condition like mastitis, you may consider a separate supplement of choline in addition to what you're taking. But if you're taking your standard commercial vitamin, it may not be enough. Okay. But the choline can be purchased as a separate supplement by itself. Yes. Awesome. Well, you learn something new every day. and I still do too. We're all learning. We're all learning. Science changes every day. It does. It does.
Well, thank you so much, Sonja. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have all enjoyed our conversation today. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions for what helped you in terms of nutrition get through your postpartum period, then please do comment down below. We would love to hear from you. And if you've enjoyed the video and you want to follow us along and get notifications of our new videos as they are released every Thursday morning, then please do hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you along. So from Sonja and from me for now, it is goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.